for people to understand the person we are talking about. It is important to lay that background because there are people who don't really know what we are talking about. You know, every blessed day, like my own very self, I broadcast twice every day. I make my broadcast in the morning and in the evening. Every single broadcast I make is about Biafra restoration. It's about the freedom of Biafra. It's about the self-determination of the Biafra, nothing else. I do not come here to attack anybody. I do not come here to promote anybody. I do not come here to promote any group. I only come here to speak about the freedom of the Biafran people. And that is it. And in my program, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you are an African or a non-African, whether you are a Biafran or non-Biafran, and you feel you have a superior argument. The links are there. Either you are watching me on TikTok or you're watching me on Facebook or you're watching on YouTube where I'm hosting the program. The link is there. All you need to do is click that link, join us on the program, air your opinion, make your contribution, whatever be your argument. Bring up your superior argument. Bring it up. That is why we are here. And as we go on, I want us to listen to this message of MAZI NNAMDI KANU before we proceed.
Agara buri abacha ya abata agasa agago constitutional conference mbụ ganka abụọ ganka atọ ihe niile ekwuchara na ihe a ga-eme onweghị nke mere mgbe a lụchara gasị na restructuring, rehabilitation and reconciliation otu ahụhụ n'ezi onweghị nke mere eme ile ka obodo ekwensu ọ bụ Naijiria si akpa agwa ma ọ bụ ndị na-achị ha si akpa agwa ị ga-ahụ na ha abụghị ndị na-ekweta n'ihe ekwu ha na-ekwu ofu ha mana eme ọzọ ọ ka ndụ ha si dị o mekọta ya n'ụwa ha ekweta ka eme restructuring. Ihe a bụ ihe m gwara ndị ọha na eze kama ha agha amụ ntị n'obi. Ọ gara m ha agwa na restructuring ha na-achọ na ọ gaghị enwe isi esi ọnwụ si na ihe ha chọrọ. Nsọ unu gosi m restructuring unu were ya wetara m ya tupu unu gwa m sị m hapụ Biafra m na-eme ka ebe restructuring nọ taa. Biafra mana ejighị n'aka kama tupu agha ha n'ala dịka ndị Awụsa na Fulani si wee kposa ha n'ala a gwara ha sị ha unu gaa n'igwe na-agbasa ozi unu gaa kọtọ Nnamdi Kanu unu gaa kọtọ IPOB ka ihe ndị Awụsa gwara ọhaneze bịa n'igwe na-agbasa ozi bịa kọtọ IPOB kọtọ m ekwere ha nkwa ma sị unu kọtọcha ha ga-enye unu restructuring ha pụta kọtọcha anyị ha wetara restructuring.
Biko kamgbe ahụ ihe dị ka na-eme a maara na kamgbe nne nwodo batara nwere ihe dị ka obere ihe mgbanwe n'ebe ọhaneze
ekenego m ya agara m ugboro abụọ nke izuzo n'ọhịa ọ nọ na Amerịka nkapụ ọzọ mmiri ya nwa ụkwa ị na-ese nna ka ọwụ ebe ọ na-akwara igwe rubere ya isi kama ihe nna agwa ha wụ ha hapụ ị na-eso ndị Awụsa na ndị Fulani nwa uru ha bara anyị aja na-ekwe kwụsị ike ị na-eme ọhaneze ime ọhaneze anyị kwara nye ugwu rubere ya isi na ịwa ọhaneze ọwa ọhaneze nke ndị Awụsa si egosi bịazi anyị chọta ọhaneze bụ nke asị ọzọ arịawa ọhaneze ka anyị na-eme ebe a ka ezigbo ọhaneze ka anyị na-eme Awụsa si egosi si gị bịa kọtọ ihe IPOB na-eme pụta kọtọ uwe olekwa ka ọhaneze na-agwa arịwasị akọtọ ụmụaka ha na Awụsa na Fulani anya ha ntị n'obi ọ gwara sọsọ ndị Igbo ka ọ na-eme onye Fulani kpọọ ha n'ekwentị si ha ngwụnụ ga-akọtọ ụmụnne unu ha kọtọ ebutere ha ego n'Enugu ha na-akụgharị igwe niile na-agbasa ozi ekwu mpụ niile gbasara IPOB ihe anyị na-eme.
You have heard the argument of MAZI NNAMDI KANU. Every single message MAZI NNAMDI KANU has delivered in the past are messages that are meant to show a demand, a request from his people. MAZI NNAMDI KANU has never ever been violent from day one. All he was asking for all this while is self-determination. What MAZI Nnamdi Kanu demanded was self-determination. But unfortunately, the people, even the people he was fighting for their freedom, turned against him. They went ahead to proscribe MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. The proscription of IPOB, proscription of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, you and my own very self, was done by our own people. The proscription of our proscription was done by our own people who are from Biafra, the politicians from Biafra land. They did the proscription. The same vein, even in the case of MAZI Simon Ekpa today, it is still the same politicians that came together. Politicians, elites, traditional rulers, they were the ones that came together, wrote letter together to Finland to make sure that MAZI Simon Ekpa is detained. The same thing they did to MAZI Nnamdi. Before MAZI Nnamdi Kanu extraordinary rendition, the people who were involved in the front line were the same people, the politicians in Biafra land, the elites in Biafra land, Ohaneze Ndohin and Dama. That is why anytime you see them asking, oh, release MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, they are not doing it out of their will. The only person that was making them to continue to speak for MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, whether they like it or not, is MAZI Simon Ekpa. The presence of MAZI Simon Ekpa was so frightening to them that they cannot afford to keep silent. They were forced to demand for release of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, even though it wasn't from their heart. They had no choice than to open their mouth and ask, because of the pressure coming from our Prime Minister, MAZI Simon Ekpa. MAZI Simon Ekpa kept that pressure until the day they succeeded through international conspiracy to take MAZI Simon away. MAZI Simon Ekpa maintained that very standard. He maintained that very pressure. He maintained it from the very day he took charge until the day they succeeded through global conspiracy to remove him. That was why during that time MAZI Simon was there. You saw every one of them was saying, release MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. Seibo in Anambra State went and printed a billboard, release MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. Where is that billboard today? Where is that billboard today? Every one of them were saying, including lawmakers. Where are they today? Did you hear their voice? Because they have succeeded in silencing the man who was in the front line to make sure. The man who was putting fire on their ass, and they couldn't help it than to request. But when they saw that that man is not more around, they have all gone back to whom they are. They have gone back to the tradition. And one question that I always ask, if these governors, traditional rulers, the elites in Biafra land, if they were sincere for the release of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, the very first thing they are supposed to do is to deproscribe IPOB. Because they were the people that proscribed IPOB. It wasn't the federal government. The state government were the force, led by Obiano. And you can say Obiano is on the power today, but government is continuous. So when we mention Obiano was in charge, but it was Anambra State. Call it Anambra State was in the front line to proscribe the indigenous people of Biafra. So if they are sincere, the first step is to deproscribe IPOB. On state level, the same way they did, proscribe IPOB. Then you begin to make a demand. Because MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is still the leader of IPOB, which you call a terrorist organization. How can you be genuine in asking for the freedom of somebody who is leading an organization that you term a terrorist organization? How sincere is that request? How could that request be sincere? You proscribe an organization and you call this organization a terrorist organization. And now you said you are asking for the release and freedom of the leader of this organization. MAZI Nnamdi Kanu has never ever denied the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and he will not. Our supreme leader, MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, will never deny IPOB. He will never. He will never. So, if these idiots were sincere, if these criminals, this devilish, this satanic entity, if these satanic cabals, if they were sincere, the very first step should have been the same way they started the proscription, The same way they gather themselves and they made that announcement, they should come together and deproscribe IPOB on a state level and say, IPOB in my state is no longer a terrorist organization. Then let us wait and see what the federal government is going to do. Even if they refuse, on this state level, even if they refuse, at least on the state level, remove the proscription that you yourself put in place. But none of them will do that. They will come and tell you, they should release MAZI NNAMDI KANU. And for you to see their insincerity, just after when they have succeeded, and they see that they have succeeded in taking away MAZI Simon Ekpa, who was the one forcing them to do things, every one of them begin to say that releasing MAZI NNAMDI KANU. You go to their media, that is what they use their media to create. They use their media to create the impression, oh, if you release MAZI NNAMDI KANU, you're not even sure if peace will return. If you release MAZI NNAMDI KANU, you're not even sure if there will be peace. If you release MAZI NNAMDI KANU, you're not sure that things are going to be okay. That MAZI NNAMDI KANU freedom will not guarantee freedom. It will not guarantee security. As if even before IPOB, there were no insecurity. In all parts of the world, there are insecurity, but to a certain level. To a certain level. But when you look at what these criminals are doing, the people we entrust our faith in, since they succeeded, gathered themselves together, they gathered themselves, the traditional rulers, the politicians, the elites, and wrote a letter, and they sent the criminal woman, they sent Bianca Ono to Finland to go and present their propaganda. And Finland sold their soul, sold their conscience, because of information given to them by a criminal entity, a country that Canada, a court in Canada, it is not even Biafran saying it, a court in Canada said that all the ruling parties in Nigeria are terrorist organizations. And tell me, when the people who are controlling you are terrorists, what becomes of you that they are controlling? What do you think will become of you that control? So, Canadian court is literally telling us that Nigeria is a terrorist organization, a terrorist country. That same terrorist country gave Finland information, and Finland honored it and joined them in criminalizing self-determination, which is a right of every human being, not a privilege. Which is a right that they, Finland, signed into law. Nigeria signed into law. Yet they criminalize it. Finland because of economic interests. Nigeria for wickedness. These people are not genuine and can never, ever be genuine. Wherever you are as a Biafran, don't ever lose your guard. Don't ever lose your... Don't allow yourself to be distracted. We must continue to focus. Whatever be the outcome in court today, I cannot be surprised. Nothing in Nigeria can surprise me. Nothing in Nigeria can surprise me. Nothing. There is no action that Nigeria will take that will surprise me. So when you're dealing with the zoo, you should expect everything. When you are dealing with the zoo, anything that has to do with the zoo, when you are embarking in anything that has to do with zoo, expect everything. Everything is possible. I say everything is possible. That is why we are here seated and we are waiting for the verdict that's going to come from their court. Every one of us should continue to remain positive. Remain positive, but at the same time, prepare yourself for whatever comes out of it. Do not be discouraged. Do not be dismayed. We are going to see the end of it. We have come. And we are calling the attention of the world. That is why we build the foundation of the whole information for the world to know the person they are holding in court today is a prisoner of conscience. And today we determine the fate of the Zoological Republic. Whether they want to turn a new leaf or they want to continue in their criminalization of self-determination and disobedience of international law and destruction of themselves. Yeah, welcome, my brother Greg. Thank you so much for joining, bro Greg. Go ahead and take the mic and speak to us. If you're there.
Yes,
are you there, Greg?
Yes, I'm here, Mazi.
Yeah, welcome, my brother.
Good morning, good afternoon, My greetings to all Biafrans, and thank you, Mazi Choose, for today's broadcast. We thank God for our lives and the life of our leaders, MAZI NNAMDI KANU, who is still alive, going to the court today. And we thank God for Mazi Simon Ekpanjoko, the PM, and all the goodwill people. May God be with them. We pray this afternoon that God will take charge of MAZI NNAMDI KANU today.
Okay.
Whatever the court outcome is, we are not afraid because our God liveth. But whatever is the outcome of today, the God of MAZI NNAMDI KANU is alive. He's not dead. So we are not afraid of whatever decision Nigerian government want to, on whatever they want to do today. Our prayer is that the hand that have been keeping MAZI NNAMDI KANU alive, that hand will continue to be alive. And because that hand is alive, MAZI NNAMDI KANU will be alive.
See?
Nothing will happen to him. He will be alive and see his struggle. He will be alive and finish what he started. He will be alive and rejoice with his people.
See?
And God will do it as we pray, because he said, whatever I hear you say, that I will do for you. And every Biafran, goodwill Biafrans are praying the same prayer, and God is not deaf. He's the God that answers his people when they call. So our call remains the health and strength and power to MAZI NNAMDI KANU. And that we know that God will do for us through his son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mazi. Yeah. You know, before you start this program, there is something I watched, an interview from a Catholic priest interviewed by one American about what is happening in Nigeria. And the priest was saying it as it is. How they are killing the Christians, burning churches, and every 2 hours in Nigeria, a Christian life is being taken in Nigeria. And they are not allowed to carry arms. And he called how many barracks surrendered that the area where all these things are happening, and nothing is being done. So, as this man the priest was saying all these things, my mind was asking me, this interview that was arranged by somebody for the priest to come and have this interview, even the priest is in Nigeria, and somebody was writing mail, how many mails, before the person respond and call this priest for the interview. So my mind was telling me, all this interview, I'm not against that interview, but the only problem I have is this. With the Benue and the Plateau and the so-called Middle Belt, who are coming internationally, making others interviews and broadcasts. I don't know how long they will wait for America to come and fight fight against those people who are killing their people. So all these interviews, the priest living in Nigeria is making in America, in radio and all those things. And he don't believe that America know even those informations more than him. that the thing is happening in his own area. And I don't know how long they will wait for America to come with Tucana jets to kill those terrorists. And if they want America to come, they suppose direct the America, the Tekuna, to go to the Asorok, because that is where the order is coming from. But knowing very well that American cannot send their Tekuna to their business partner called Nigeria. British cannot send their Tekuna to their business partner in Asorok. They will continue suffering the same thing. Nigerians will continue suffering it because it can never come to happen. They know all those things and they cannot do anything, and they cannot do it for them. Why am I saying I started with this morning is this. Every person that is honest, those who are calling Ojuku's name that he is evil, those who are calling Nnamdi Kanu that they're supposed to kill him, those who are coming in Finland to testify, and those writing letters to Finland against Simon Ekman, they have not sit down and asked themselves question: how did we come to this level? How come? What happened? How come all these things is happening? I will not go back to the extent of 1960s or 19 whatever before the Biafra Nigerian war. But I will start from 80s. When there have been problems about these evil people killing people in the north. There was a time they killed many people in the north that warranted on the church revolt, and the eastern people revolt when the northerners run away. That should be either 80s or 90s. Nnamdi Kanu, we are nowhere at that point. Ralph Wazike, we are nowhere at that point. When they were killing Igbos in these 80s, and there was a revenge, either in Onitsha or somewhere in the east, at a point, every time when such a thing happens, it will come down and Nigeria will continue again. And it come to this latest 2009, 2010, 11, and 12, when they started going to seminaries in Enugu, in Nsukka, killing all the seminarians and burning churches, going into farmlands in the east and the Benue, kidnapping people, raping our girls, our mothers in the farm, and our wives, killing the farmers. That time, IPOB have not been formed. And the thing continue. All those times, there was a government in Nigeria, from Obasanjo to Yar'Adua. Yar'Adua get to Jonathan. All these things will happen until the last test, 2014-15, when Nnamdi Kanu come on the picture and formed IPOB, so that the Igbos will start to deciding their future, the Biafrans will start deciding their future, the Easterners will start deciding their future. And then there was a government in Nigeria which ignored those calls and start calling them tout, miscreants, irrelevant people, uneducated, little children, they are nobody. And all those things were coming warnings. People who will go on the street with only flag, Nigeria will send their military and police and we'll go and massacre them. There was a government. There was no call for any meeting. There was no call for any reconciliation. There was no call for dialogue. There was no call to repay or at least compensate some of those families in that Igbo land. There was no reconciliation. There was no dialogue. There was a government in Nigeria until they continued, everything continued growing worse and worse. And Nnamdi Kanu started calling the government of the East that they should look at other people. The Yorubas are formed Amotek to defend their land. What are the Easterners waiting, the Eastern governors? I mean the Biafran governors, both from Port Harcourt to Delta to any part. What are they doing? They're supposed to secure our land and our bush and our borders, to stop the raping in our land. There was a government. There was no dialogue. Nothing happened. Nobody stopped it. And it continued growing worse until MAZI NNAMDI KANU said, we are going to form a security that will defend our own land, to go inside the bushes and chase those people who are parading in the bush, killing our people and raping and burning all the seminary and everything and killing our priests. In the midnight, they will go inside seminary and kill a lot of seminarians. And they will go inside the bush and rape and kill. And there was a government and nothing happened. And everybody keep quiet until Eastern Security Network is formed or was formed. And they go into the reason why they were formed. They started chasing the people who went inside the bush and build a house there and use it as a place to do kidnapping and killing. That is where all this problem started. So the question I'm asking, 2009 or 2008, 2009, should be either 2009, when there was a bomb blast in United Nations House in Abuja. I don't know where that thing happened. Where Boko Haram, all this, that time they started with this suicide bomb. When they went and killed and burned, it should be at the United Nations House. That time Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State. I watched it live. Hillary Clinton said that those people, that Boko Haram is not terrorist. And in that 2009, I was in Nigeria, and there was a tape, record tape I brought, that where in 2008, there was a prophecy that Ejike Mbaka gave. He said that they should warn Yaradua, and this thing that is happening in the north is not a joke. I bought that CD, I brought it home down here in Germany, and many people watched it, listened to it, and he warned the federal government of Nigeria that if they think that what is coming is joke, that what is coming will destroy Nigeria. And there is a kind of etiquette, or there's a language he used, and said that the federal government should not take Boko Haram lightly, that what is coming is too dangerous in the future, that in the next 10 years from that time, that Nigeria is going to receive too much hurt, because what he said and what was shown to him, that Boko Haram have come to claim Nigeria. That was warning 2008, 2009. So, why I started all these things today, remembering them one by one, and how all those things started is because there had been a government in Nigeria. Why am I saying this today? Is because Nigeria is negotiating with somebody who carry machine gun and come to negotiation in their president. And that person, after the negotiation,
go ahead, my brother.
After the negotiation, the person went home freely with his group. And their master, their sponsor, Gumi, warned the Nigeria not to provoke them. And is working in Nigeria freely. So why they are keeping Nnamdi Kanu and refusing him to go to hospital, even for treatment? That is a common right of every human being to be treated and face whatever they want to charge him. So why all this? Why I start remembering all these things is the so-called the Igbos and those people who are calling for the head of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, and those who are calling for the head of Simon Ekpa, and the wife of the former wife of Ojukwu. I will call her former because any person that is marrying Ojukwu is a wife of the Biafrans and is a mother for Biafra and is a wife for Biafrans. So this woman, Biafra have divorced her in the spiritual and the physical for Ojukwu. She is no more representing that family, Ojukwu, and no more representing Biafra. So this woman they call Bianca can tell Biafrans why all these years and all these things have been happening. Nigeria ignore the Biafrans, ignore the Igbos for anything sitting down for negotiation. 2015 or whatever, when the Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, and they had a meeting with the so-called governors with Ohaneze, led by, what do you call him? Wodo. And he gave them conditions: if you don't want me to carry on with the Biafra, go and get the restructuring you're talking about. And these are the things that you people must go to the federal government and bring for Igbos and Biafrans. What did they do? When after the meeting, they turned back and sent military to go and kill him in his father's house. 28 people were dead, and many people were got injured, including the parents died because of this cause. Igbos have governors. Bianca Ojukwu was there. She's not a kid. And all these things, Igbos were neglected till today. There was no sit down, any serious discussion. There was no call. IPOB we started killing the IPO, the MASOP during the time of Wazirike. There was no dialogue. There was no call for peace. There was no serious change of policy against the Igbo people. They did not stop killing them in the north or in Abuja or destroying their businesses. They did not stop killing them in Lagos. They did not start inciting evil against the Igbo people. They did not stop the marginalization in finance and in education, in everything against the Igbos. And people, the money people, are standing up to say they should poison MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, or they should kill him or jail him for life. And those people are walking around freely in Igbo land and wherever they are. So today, our leader MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is going to the court. We are waiting to hear whatever they want to bring. Just like I always say, we will always prepare for the worst. And the worst thing that can happen is for somebody to start something. To start something is not the problem, but to finish it and continue until it is finished. So those people who are standing up for Biafra, who want to freedom, should be asking themselves, what happened to the Yorubas? Nothing has happened to the Yorubas. They have killed prophets in Igbo land. They have killed kings in Igbo land. They have killed politicians in Igbo land, and nothing had happened. But what the only injury Nigeria have touched the Yorubas are Abiola, that won election, and they denied him that election, and they poisoned him and they killed him. And they make sure they reconcile and have dialogue with them, and they gave them June 12, which is makes no sense for me. But tell me all these whys that Igbos have been suffering in Nigeria. Where are Nigerians serious and have one dialogue with them, and that dialogue, the whole world witnessed the dialogue, and Nigeria walks towards that dialogue to please or to appease the Biafrans or the Igbo people. So why I'm saying all this and why I started making all this point is because of those people that are calling Ojukwu names, calling Wazirika names, calling Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa names, that they will know that there is a spirit that called the living God, and that give the Igbo this place they are staying, and give the Biafrans the area he called this Biafra people, and he gave them their language and their culture according to him, the Mecca. That man is still alive, and he will surely rise one day. I don't know if that day should start today, and rise for the Igbo people, and that God will do it. The time is on his hand, and he knows how to handle it. So, Mazi, whatever that is coming out from this their kindergarten court, we are here waiting to listen, to hear, and to know what they want to say. But there is nothing that they will say today that makes sense for me. If there is MAZI NNAMDI KANU today, it makes no sense for me as well, because they have suffered him so much and denied him right and denied their people, his people, their right, the dead. And they have not changed any policy against the Igbo people. They have not changed any policy against the Biafrans. Go to Ogoni today, all the part of Ogoni, all the part of rivers and Delta State are soaked in gas and oil, in the water, no good water to drink, no good environment, nothing. They only bribe those foolish ones who they call the politicians and their king, and give them the money by force. If they like, they take it. If they don't like, they take it. They must accept it or they deal with them. So they have no option than to take that money and start to stand against their people. That is what is happening in Nigeria, and people must understand it. So sometimes when you look at those people who is taking bribe and standing against their people, sometimes it's not their will, but because they cannot stand that evil, they do what? They accept the money and turn their back against their people. That is what is happening in Biafra today, but every four corner of Biafra land. And that is why our people are still suffering to death. And the international community is deaf to listen. I'm not calling them to come and fight for us, but I want them to stand on justice. They are not fighting for Israel today. Israel is fighting their fight, but morally they're supporting Israel to stand and fight for what belongs to them and for their people that have been killed. But when Biafra rise to fight for the injustice against them, the so-called people like Finland will start to rise and start giving them names. And that is what we are suffering. But God will see us through. That is my conclusion for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my brother Greg. I appreciate you for that wonderful, wonderful submission that you just made. Thank you so much. And we have an update. Let us go through the update that we have from Abuja. We have an update that is coming from Abuja from the court. So the updates, as we know, while we are here discussing about the case, the case is ongoing and the hearing has commenced. So from the information we get from the court, inside the courtroom, it says the session primarily concentrated on a pending application concerning Kanu's health issues, rather than the previous expected ruling on his no case submission. Did you get that? I hope you heard me well. From the court, the information we are getting from the court, it says that the section primarily concentrated on the pending application concerning MAZI NNAMDI Kanu's health issues, rather than previously expected ruling on his no case submission. The judge noted that he interrupted his break to address this issue due to worries about Kanu's declining health, referring to him as my brother, MAZI NNAMDI Kanu. Defense counsel Onyechi Ibazu San was allowed to present oral argument regarding the health application. Kanu arrived at the court earlier in the morning, and other proceedings began with the judge confirming the emphasis on health concern. This is live update that we are bringing. And also there are updates again from supporters and activists within the court, reflecting heightened tension and anticipation with calls of justice and his unconditional release. By midday, no ruling on the health application had been reported, but the hearing highlights ongoing worries about Kanu's well-being while in detention. So when you listen to these updates that we just read now, what do you think is happening? What do you expect? The reason we all come here and what we are focusing on, we know the health of MAZI NNAMDI Kanu is of great concern. But the main purpose of holding this court today, supposedly, is no case submission. And that was what the lawyer of MAZI NNAMDI Kanu, Aloy Ejimako, wrote on his platform, the no case submission. So why are they wasting our time on talking about the health issue of MAZI NNAMDI Kanu and the health challenges? If they know that he has no case, why don't you proceed directly to the no case submission and allow him to go? Why are they now still spending time on discussing the health issue of MAZI NNAMDI Kanu? And the lawyer, the judge is saying that it is because of that health issue that he cut short his break to come and attend to the case of MAZI NNAMDI Kanu. And he addressed MAZI NNAMDI Kanu as my brother MAZI NNAMDI Kanu. Is that enough for us? You know, when we say Nigeria is, when you are dealing with Nigeria, you must expect everything, expect anything. Why we are expecting what they're going to do? Now you know what to come.
Except you don't know Nigeria.
That is it.
If you know Nigeria, once they come out to play their games, you will know. Just like that man come out yesterday telling them you are elderly people, then we beat you, we'll carry up 5 of your elders, you can go home. That is their money. They will use the things that you want to hear to manipulate you.
Exactly.
That is Nigeria. So, he calling his brother, knowing fully well that the doctor had confirmed that his health is not okay. Then, yeah, this kind of thing, is he supposed to take up to 5 minutes to resolve? That the reports have been there. The doctor's report, the team of doctors that organized from Nigeria report is there. So what is the judge waiting?
You don't even need to hold a court for you to permit him to go and take care of himself. You don't even need to go hold a court. So why are they disturbing us with that topic today, my brother?
That is the question. So people, except people who have not come to understand who Nigeria is. You have to understand Nigeria. If you don't understand Nigeria, you will be killing yourself. I have understand Nigeria very well. If I understand them, if I understand them the way I understand them now, both them and those living in Nigeria that normally come here, by now I wouldn't have lost so much. I'm telling you. I'm telling you the truth. So understand Nigeria, they know how to manipulate you. They will know how to do everything. And so the thing that the public will want to hear, they will give it to the public and do what they want to do. That is the way they act. So, calling Nandi my brother. Who is your brother? So, yeah.
A criminal.
You know? So, look at, when they are doing things, they will think the people are stupid. People are not stupid. Because when he started that case, people were praising him. Oh, he want to rush it. He want to telling him that Nnamdi Kanu have been in prison for a long time. I want to rush this case. They left. I was watching them. I say, I will know if this one is not in Nigeria like other people. So now he have had all the case. What is holding him to give the judgment? The thing that hold Anyoku for 5-10 years is holding him again.
Yeah.
That is it. So he just wants the people to say, this James Oyemotoshe is doing something. He is not doing anything. He is not doing anything. His Nigeria is not different from other one. The judge that delivered the Supreme Court judge woman that said they should release MAZI NNAMDI KANU and not try the case in Nigeria, that is resigned. I think last 2 weeks, I happened to get the clip of her this thing where she was saying that corruption in Nigeria and in the judiciary, that if a judge wants to turn a billionaire, the judge will turn a billionaire. And the judge, that woman, is a Yoruba woman as well. So he said that if Nigeria cannot work, let them divide Nigeria. But when she was the judge, you cannot say it. But at least she have conscience for pronouncing that the court should not try MAZI NNAMDI KANU. So that woman have conscience. Is a woman with conscience.
So from what we are hearing in the court now, you can see that all this bringing the case of MAZI NNAMDI KANU from 10th to 26th is just to calm the tension. They see that tensions are rising up from everywhere. More especially protests, that massive protest has been called in Abuja. Yeah. And so many other things that are coming up. This thing is just targeted at calming the situation. Maybe at the end of the day, they might just tell you, okay, take him to the hospital and treat him. And then they see a reason to tell you, there's no need to protest, no need to do this, no need to do that. Just come down, they have taken him just imagine the criminality of Nigeria. The least we expect is no case submission that was put in the table. They gave a judgment. They say on the 10th, they will pass judgment on the no case submission. All of a sudden, they bring it forward. Instead of you now to come and talk about no case submission, they are talking about the health of MAZI NNAMDI KANU. A distraction.
A distraction.
A heavy distraction. Just to calm down the whole tension that is up. But Biafrans, if you lose your guard, it's up to you. This is why Mazi Simon Ekpa said, no matter what you hear from Nigerian government, you must continue. Even when you hear them, they want to do good, increase that thing you are doing. Increase the tension. That is the template of Mazi Simon Ekpa. When you think that you want to do something to pacify him, the only thing he wants, release MAZI NNAMDI KANU, release him, let him go back to his home. Stay in his father's company in Afaruku and talk to us. Then we will stop what we are doing. All these useless games they play, this and that, let us continue to listen. We are waiting for the update to see what they are going to pass as the final judgment in this court today. We are here. We are not going anywhere. But for them to just start with that health issue now and begin to discuss about the main issue, the no case submission. Let him go. Let him go and treat himself. Why are you pacifying us by telling us how he's your brother, he's your sister, he's your what? Who cares? MAZI NNAMDI KANU himself said that he doesn't want pity from anybody. He doesn't want pity. He wants to stand his trial. Go ahead and follow the trial so that he can stand it and go home. But Nigeria being what it is, I hope the whole world is watching. I hope the international community is watching. How self-determination is criminalized. This is how
they have not been watching.